Section 1 houses the security facility for the site, located on the south side of the tunnel, including an armory. Note, access is restricted to personnel with firearms experience. I don't have firearms, but I am rim-wise, so that helps me a little bit. Directly east of this is the monitor room. Reports indicate the closed-circuit monitoring system that runs throughout TEL-022 has been compromised. Storage units line the north side. Office cubicles take up the bulk of the floor space for Section 1, and meeting rooms, including an executive suite, form the majority of the remaining space. A rudimentary kitchen area is located towards the end of the section. Do not view, download, or disseminate documents or systems for which you are not authorized. Check panic before proceeding to the next section, as always. So here is a map of Section 1. We're coming from A here, from the caisson. We can see our armory here in this location. And then below that is the kitchen area down here. And then we have the cubicles taking up the majority of the floor space here. And then this executive suite up here. And then the generator and things over here by B. Interesting. Oh, wait. Directly east of this is the monitoring room. This is the monitoring room here. Okay. Interesting. Oh, no, wait. This is the kitchen area. Sorry. This is the kitchen area. This is the executive suites. This is the monitoring room. And this is the armory. And what is this? What is this place? Outside of the tunnel. Including an armory. Okay. So maybe this whole entire thing is the armory and the security section. Then you have the monitoring room, executive suite, and then the cubicles. And then we have a kitchen here. And then the generator here at B. Okay. Let's take a listen to Section 1's memos and see what the previous lamplighter has to say.
Section 1A.
Don't enter the cubicles.
Oh, shit.
I mean, unless you know what you're doing. My eyes were still blinking from the light back in the caisson, and I stepped right into it. The place is completely booby-trapped. I managed to move out of the way just in time, but I think I got a bit of a haircut. I've explored this half of the section. There must be 100 rooms in this place. I took a look at the armory. Still seems partially stocked. There's a makeshift tunnel leading off the monitor room. I shone a flashlight down there. There's nothing but darkness at the end of that, so fuck that.
Yeah, okay.
There is a ton of long, dark rags hanging down from the ceiling over the middle. A forest of the stuff. There's a note pinned to the first row of the cubicles that says, "Look all you want, but if you take, we'll know." No clue.
The
I
heck?
spotted scaffold planks rigged against the north side over the top of the cubicles. So it's time to move on.
Section 1B.
Just, is it there? I'm here. Just about. I left the last module and there was that groaning again. Closer this time. I saw something reach through the last door, so I booked it to the armory. I had to smash open one of the lockers to get a revolver. I can't stand guns, honestly, but... Shh. Slow down. I was nearly up to the cubicles when it came in. Another crab, but this thing is a giant. That screech. It's fast. Long, pointy legs. I managed to scramble up onto the scaffold walkway, but it got me right in the back. I pulled the boards along with me as I went. He came up to the cubicles, but no further.
Oh, no.
I think it hears me.
Heck no.
Well, it hasn't got me that bad. I haven't switched on the power yet. I might just take a breather, you know? Hear that noise? I saw those papers in one of the meeting rooms. What is Project Hellmouth?
Oh, snap. Okay. So, a lot going on in this room. A lot going on. Alright, so section 1. The cubicle's booby-trapped. Okay, so we know that. We also know that must be 100 rooms in this place. Wow. Okay, the armory is partially stocked. Okay. And there's a makeshift tunnel leading off of the monitor room. Interesting. What the heck could have made that? Who knows? That sounds weird. I don't know if I'm... Okay. I don't even know what to think about that. Ton of long, dark rags hanging from the ceiling over the middle. A forest of the stuff. So, is it like laundry? Are people doing laundry? So, rags over the cubicles. What the heck is going on here? That is bizarre. The note says, look all you want, but if you take, we'll know. So there was a note on the cubicles. Interesting. And then scaffold planks rigged against the north side over the top of the cubicles. A lot going on here. And then he said that he heard a noise again, that groaning again. And then he saw something reach through the door. Presumably the crab. The giant crab. I only assume that whatever he saw reach through the door was the crab. Which sounded like it attacked him. And then he got up on the cubicle scaffolding. Interesting. And then he found in the executive rooms some documents about Project Hellmouth. Sounds like they've been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay. Let's do some investigating. So there's a lot going on in this room. The cubicles were trapped. I found a revolver in the armory. There was a tunnel in the monitor room. There were rags over the cubicles. There was a note on the cubicles. There were scaffolding planks on the cubicles. And he saw something reach through the door. On the other side was a giant crab, because then a giant crab did come out and attack him. And then he also searched the executive suite and found documents around Project Hellmouth. So that's very interesting. All right. So I am going to roll the D100 here. I'm going to refresh this right quick. We're just going to go to D100. And I'm going to add in a D20 here. And then we'll also add in our 2 D10s for our checks. Actually, no, that's a D100 as well, so I don't need this. All right, so we're going to roll our D100 first to check. First of all, we're going to take a walk around to the armory, since that's where we first come in. So if we go back to page 27 here, we're coming in through coming into the armory. And we're going to shine our flashlight around, see if we can see, are there any lockers with weapons in it or anything. So, is there any lockers or obvious weapons inside the armory? An 86. So 86 minus 50 is 36. All right, so 36. Yes. But cryogenic chamber stasis cessation. Okay. So this is all very generic, so you can kind of use this to craft your story. I'm going to say cessation means Yes, there are some weapons, but they are all either out of ammo or in disrepair. Like they can't be used. Can't be used in some way. So there are weapons in the armory, but they are all in disrepair. Which is okay. I do have my revolver. Alright, so the first thing I should have checked, though, is there any evidence of the giant crab? Is there any evidence of the giant crab? So 55 minus 50 is 5. Giant crab, no. But the possibility is that he went through that tunnel in the monitor room. There is evidence around the tunnel that something large squeezed through that tunnel there. So the giant crab may have gone in the tunnel. So I guess I'll go over and shine my flashlight in the tunnel. Ugh, I really don't want to, but do I see anything with my flashlight in the tunnel? 20. No. But there is evidence of alien forms or unfamiliarity, novelty. So I do see evidence of something unhuman in that tunnel, which tracks. I could go in and explore it a little bit better, revolver in hand, but that's not my job. I'm not here to hunt crabs. I'm not a crab fisherman. I am here to turn on the lights. That's my job. Turn on the lights. Just turn on the lights. Devon, just turn on the lights. Okay. Let's make our way on over past the to the cubicles. Are there any traps evident on the cubicles? 42. Yes. Spillage, negligence, leakage. So whenever I approach the trap area, I mean the cubicle area, there was a rigged trap, a bucket of acid that sprays out from a trap there at the entrance to the cubicles. So when I start walking up, I see this acid spray out. I'm going to make a save to try to get away from that acid. I'm going to try to dodge away from the acid. So I do have a speed of 40, which is not bad. I don't know if I could use any of my skills to add to that. Probably not. I could. Oh, my 0G. Yes, I can use my 0G skill, which is my vac suit use. I'm going to add that. So I have to beat a 51. But I do have disadvantage because I'm in a vac suit. I think I'll just stick with the rules. The rules say disadvantage when you're in the vac suit. Doesn't say anything in the 0G skill about doing away with that disadvantage, but it does give me a plus 10. So I have to roll disadvantage on a D100 and see if we beat. So I got a 28 and a 54. Ooh, mama. I really need 2d10s though, so I can see if I get a critical success or a critical failure. I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, I do need 2d10s. Yeah. So I can see if I get critical successes or failure. I'll go ahead and keep the 54. I don't want to have to re-roll. Well, I mean, I failed. So. Okay. Well, we'll just take the failure. But from now on, I'm going to roll 2d10s and add them together. So in this case, I would have gotten a 67 and a 41. One of which is still a fail because I have disadvantage. So we'll just we'll call it and say, yeah, I failed. So not only did I fail, so that means I got a stress for a failed check. Now my stress is up to a 3. I also need to take some damage from this acid. I'm going to say the acid is a 1d4 worth of damage. I'm just saying that out of the blue. That's 3 damage. Luckily, I have an AP of 3. So the suit absorbed all of the damage. It wasn't greater than 3, so I think I still have the armor. But at this point, my armor saved me there. So that's good. Oh, greater than or equal to their AP. The armor's destroyed. Dang. Alright, so I don't have armor anymore. My armor was destroyed by the acid. That's too bad. That's too bad. I'm just going to put damaged. I'll have to, at some point, repair that to take a look at that. Okay, so so the cubicles are indeed still trapped, and so do I still see the rags hanging over the cubicles? No. That's going to be a no. 6, no. Slip hazard, uncertain emotion. So a lot of the rags look like they have slipped off of the rafters. They're now laying around on the cubicles. I'm going to take a look at these rags and see what they are. Are the rags clothing of some sort? 69. Minus 50. 19. 19. Steep suddenness change. No, they're not clothes, but they look like something that are used frequently, like for cleaning or for wiping up spills or something along those lines. So, interesting. So there is an acid trap on the cubicles, and the rags have fallen down, or some of them have fallen down, are laying around, look like for cleaning or for cleanup. Is the stuff on the rags blood or bodily fluids of some sort? 31. Yes, biological spoilage hazards. So definitely is blood on the rags and gore. So maybe they use these rags to clean up the dead crabs in the previous room. So interesting. Interesting. Do I still see a note on the cubicles warning about taking things? 29. While I'm looking for the note, I do find it, but whenever I find it, I hear a skittering, a screeching, a groaning. Some of the same noises that the other guy found out. So I'm going to say, take a look at the door. Is there a crab leg coming in the door? 41. Yes. And he's screeching that horrible screech. Great. So the giant crab is suddenly rushing into the room just like it did with the other guy. So, yeah. We're going to do, since we don't have a warden and we can't really play out things at the same time, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll initiative. And to roll initiative, we're going to roll 2d10s. But instead of taking the total, we're going to say we got a 12 here. So we're going to roll 2d10s. That's the speed of that's our speed check. We got a 12, so we passed. And we want to go to the giant crab's entry and look at the giant crab's stats. He's also going to do a check. Oh, here it is. Gigantism. Okay. His instinct is 30. So he needs to roll lower than a 30. So I'm going to roll for him. 2d10s. I rolled a 12, so I succeeded. He rolled a 27, so he also succeeded. But my score was lower, so all right. So I was able to run away from the crab, so I created some distance between myself and the crab. I'm going to go ahead and use my revolver, and I'm going to take a shot at the El Crabo. I roll 2d10s against my combat, so I have to get lower than combat. I do have rimwise skills, which give me some combat, fighting critters and whatnot. So I'm going to add that to my combat. I have to roll lower than a 45. Roll lower than a 45. So I got a 95. Holy smokes. Oh, Jeebus. That's a fail. At least it's not a critical fail, but that's a fail. So I expended one round of my ammo from my revolver, took a shot, and missed. So I'm down to 5 rounds now. And I also gain a point of stress for failing my check. Okay. So now it is the crab's turn. He is going to try to close to attack with me. So first we have to do another speed save. Oh, I should have taken disadvantage on that when I did that speed check earlier. Dang. Okay, that's no, he's just doing initiative. Okay, that's fine. So now it's his turn. He's going to try to move and attack. So he is going to go ahead and attack me with his combat. He has to beat a 30, which is good. Or no, a 40, excuse me. His instinct is 30. So he's going to roll, see if he's going to try to attack me with the old crab here. 2d10. He has to beat a 30. He rolled a 75, so he failed. Good. Great. All right, so what do I want to do? Do I want to try to attack him again, or try to get out? I only have 5 shots left of my revolver. He is a big boy. He does a 10d5 worth of damage. Holy shnikes. He could kill me in like a couple of hits. There's no way I'm going to kill him. So I am going to try to get away from him. I'm going to run and try to climb up on to the scaffolding to get out of his reach. So I'm going to go ahead and do a roll here. And I'm going to do a speed roll. Unfortunately, it is even with my plus 10 from my rimwise, from my 0G, I have to beat a 50, but I do get disadvantage. So I'm going to roll my 2d10s for disadvantage. I have to roll it twice. So I got a 12. Oh no, that's a 0, right? So the first, a 10 is a 0. So I got a 2, which is good. All right. A 2, but I got to roll for disadvantage. 85. Jeez. God dang it. Oh, Jeebus. Oh, I failed. So what we're going to say on this failure is I try to climb up the scaffolding, but the crab reaches out and tries to grab me with his pincher. Now, since I failed, I'm giving him this free attack, basically. So this could be really bad. First of all, I need to give myself a stress for this. And he's going to grab me, or try to grab me, with his pincers. So he's going to go ahead and roll 2d10s. His attack is a 63. Whew. All right. His attack is a 40, so he rolled a 63. So he didn't get me, but he did try to pinch me, and I shook him off with, he didn't quite catch my foot, but he did almost get me. And so I'm going to go ahead and make a panic check, because I feel like that's a heck of a thing there. And so let's roll a panic check to see if I panic. My panic now has to beat a 5. So I'm gonna roll my d20. Whoo! I come in with a 4. No! No! A 4 means I have impaired reasoning. Disadvantage for 1d10 minutes on everything. Jeez. Alright, so I'm up on the scaffolding. I appear to be safe up here. He's knocking around trying to get to me, but he can't quite reach me up on the scaffolding. And so he scuttles around for several minutes trying to decide what to do. So let's give him the oracle to see, does the crab give up and leave? 14. Oh, no, a 4, excuse me. 10 is a 0. So got a 4. He does leave. No, he does not leave. He moves over to basically block the door. So he moved over to where the exit is, and he kind of just settled in. All right, so now I have to decide, what am I going to do to get away from this crab? Now, I have a few options. I could make a run for the executive room and try to lock myself in there, but I'd have to beat a speed check basically to see if I could get there faster than he does. I could take another shot at him and see if I could scare him off with a little bit of damage. We might do that. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot at him. And we're going to see, I'm going to take a shot and see if we can scare him off by attacking him. So I'm going to roll a combat check. I'm going to add in my rim-wise. That's a 55. I have to beat a 55. However, I do have disadvantage because I'm panicking. So I'm going to roll 2 D10 rolls. I've got a 71 and a 7, but I have to take the 71 because I failed. So I did shoot, but I missed. So that's another shot here. And another stress. Okay. Whew, this is tough. Alright, even though I missed, was that enough to scare off the crab? A 12. No. In fact, it aggravated him to the point where he's going to come over and start slamming at the scaffolding base with his body to try to knock me off of this scaffolding. So what he's going to do is we're going to make opposing combat rolls basically, or he'll make a combat roll. If he succeeds, he's going to damage the scaffolding enough where I'm going to have to make a speed check to keep from falling off of the scaffolding. So he's going to make a combat check first. So 2d10s. He got a 96, so he failed. All right, so he's slamming that scaffolding with his claws and stuff, trying to knock it down. But so far, I've been able to be okay. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna shoot again. I mean, what now? If I make a run for it, I have disadvantage on speed, on anything really. I have disadvantage on everything for 10 minutes. He's going to probably continue to try to knock me off of this thing, and eventually he's going to. So really my only choice is to try to hide somewhere. Is there a way for me to climb over to the executive room across this scaffolding? 17. No. Low temperature survival slows. No, so there's no way for me. There are rafters in the ceiling of the above the cubicles that I might be able to use to make my way across to the executive room, but it would be so slow that there's no way I would be able to make it. So I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to take a shot with my gun to see if I can scare this thing off again. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take another shot. I'm going to roll combat. I have to roll disadvantage again, so I have to roll twice. So I rolled another 67 and a 14, and that's another failure. Dang, another fail. So that brings my stress up to 7, down to 3 rounds now. Is that enough to scare him off, though? Even though I shot and missed, is that enough to scare him off? 63. So a 13. No. He didn't leave, but he does finally get tired of sitting there, and so he starts moving over to the tunnel in the monitor room. So while he's sitting there, he kind of clicks around trying to get to me for a little while, and finally he gives up and he moves over towards the tunnel, which we saw that maybe he lived in the giant tunnel. So he moves on over there. When he's moving over there, does he get hit by the acid trap in the cubicle? I wonder if that's why they set that acid trap. Does he get hit by the acid trap? 85, which would be a 35. 35. Yes. Ooh. He does get hit by the acid trap. However, it was a different acid trap than the one that hit me. And so, in fact, it was not an acid trap. This one, it was a bludgeoning trap. So, it looks like some metal and things constructed together to make like a blunt force object swings down from the rafters and slams into the crab and does we'll do the same damage as, like, say, a crowbar, and a crowbar does 1d5. So let's add in a 1d10, 1d10, and then if it's above 10 we would subtract 5, but it's not, so it does 3 damage. So the crab now has 3 damage, and back up to where the crab was listed. I should have wrote it down, but I didn't. Ah, here we are. Whoa. Stop. Alright, so the giant crab. Giant crab. 40. Combat. 10d5. Jeez. It's got 10 hits and 5 wounds. So he's now down to 7 health. Okay. Wow. Was that, whenever he gets hit, does he try to go ahead and leave the area? All right, 32. That sounds pretty good. 32. Yes, but there's still a risk if we make a lot of noise that he'll come back out of the tunnel. But he completely goes into the tunnel, and as much as I try to shine my light from the scaffolding to see if I can see him, like, peeking out, I don't see him. So I'm gonna have to either, like, rest here and oh my god, this is crazy. I'm not gonna go into the executive room and look for Project Hellmouth documents. I don't give a crap about Project Hellmouth, right? We are just gonna see if we can freaking survive this. So I'm gonna try to slowly and carefully make my way over to the generator, fire it up, and then egress through the door into the next area, if at all possible. So, what should I roll for that? I should have probably done a fear save instead of a panic save after I got attacked. Whatever. Let's go ahead and do a speed check to see. Yeah, we'll just do a speed check. It's disadvantage again. we're going to do a speed check and see if we can go over there to the generator without being heard by the crab. And we will go ahead and use our our 0G skills once again. See if we can quietly move in our vac suit. Okay, we are rolling with disadvantage, however, so I'm going to roll twice. I got a... Oops, wrong one. Dummy. Okay, that's clear. So I don't get confused. I'm going to roll 2d10. So I got a 58 and a 56. 58 and a 56. My speed is 50. Oh, so I failed. Stress. All right. My stress goes up. So I'm trying to climb down as quietly as possible. And unfortunately, I fail. Do I make enough noise for the crab to hear me? 14. 14, please be a no. No. But firearms violence suppression. It does make a loud noise whenever I fall. Whenever I fall the last couple of feet from the scaffolding down to the ground, it does make a loud poof, like a loud kaboom sound of my armored feet, even though the armor is now no good, hitting the ground. But it didn't appear to be enough noise to bring the crab back from his home. So I'm going to move as quickly and quietly as possible over to the generator, and I'm going to roll an intellect save with my mechanical repair. So that's a 56. Unfortunately, I am still disoriented from my panic, so I have to roll disadvantage, but I'm going to try to fire up the generator. So I got a 77, which will be a critical failure, or a 14. Oh, critical failure. Dang. So critical failure, my stress does go up once again. Jeez, I'm getting really stressed. Oh my God. All right, so critical failure. So let's just roll a D100 and see what it gives me an idea of what could happen on a critical failure of 12. Low gravity, weight, unreality. So we'll say it did fire up, but when the lights come on, it brings it brings the crab back out of the tunnel, and we can see him now in the light that he is huge and covered in barnacles. So he's a crab so large and so old that he's got his own barnacles on his shell from other little parasitic mollusks attaching themselves to him. It just looks incredibly alien and unreal. And he lets out another screech and starts to scuttle towards me. But luckily, I'm right there by the door. So I'm going to shut the door, and hopefully we will be safe. Can the crab open the door? 52, so a 2. No. Whenever I close it, it's magnetically sealed. And so we're, for now, safe from the crab. But I do have to make a panic check. So I should have stayed on that page, because we have to make a panic check every time we move to a new place. So I'm going to roll D20. I have to roll above my panic. Rolled a 7. My panic is a 9, so I panicked. I am now an idea fixation. I gain the condition 1d5 stress each time I encounter a previously encountered sign on the semiotic standard. Oh my God. So if I roll the same thing that I've previously rolled, I will get 1d5 extra stress. Jeez. Oh, and you know what? I haven't been filling out this little incident label. Dang, that sucks. So I better write this down right quick. So I'm going to make me a little table here. All right, so what are some of the incidents that we've encountered so far? The really only thing that we have encountered that were like hazards was we had the acid trap. I'm going to have to put it here. Acid trap. And we encountered the giant crab. Okay. The only other thing that we encountered that was an incident was the the exploded hyperbaric chamber. And that didn't happen to us. So is that really an incident? I don't think so. I think it has to be something that happened to us. Like some thing that we had to overcome. Alright, so the acid trap, let's roll the d10 for that. D10, 1d10. Alright. It's a 2. And then for the crab is a 9. Ooh, yeah, so the crab is definitely a very dangerous thing. So if we roll another event that's a 9, we're going to have repercussions. Okay, so yes, near misses it says. So it requires a panic check for every repercussion. Okay. All right, that's fine. We've already panicked 2 different times. So idea fixation. I gain 1d5 if I do 2 semiotic standards in a row, or it just says previously. Okay, well, that's fine. All right, we are back to the next room. Next section. Thank you for watching episode 2 of Mothership, Module 1000 Empty Lights. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We're going to be doing section 2 next episode. If you did enjoy it, be sure and hit that like button and subscribe to see more. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.